Hello, my name is Clay Hepler, and if you don't know who I am, I own and operate a multiple seven-figure land flipping and development business and the fastest growing land investment specific newsletter on the internet, as well as the top program for land investing in America. Now, today I'm going to share something with you that completely changed my land investing game, and it's probably not what you're expecting. Now, here's the thing. Most people jump into land investing. They jump in and they're doing it completely backwards. They're focusing on the how without ever figuring out their why. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact framework I use to build a multiple seven-figure land investment business. But here's a twist. We're not going to start with marketing. We're not going to start with deals, and we're not going to start with markets. We're starting with the end in mind. Now, let me paint a picture that you might recognize. You're doing everything right. You're sending thousands of mailers monthly. You're making dozens of calls daily. You're analyzing every deal that comes in. You're working 60 plus hours a week, yet the results aren't matching with the effort. Why is that? Because you're playing a game without knowing what winning looks like. Now, let me show you something really interesting. Here are three different paths to six figures in land investing. Now, the first path, the volume play, is the path that most people take. Now, for example, the volume play could be 2 deals per month at $25,000 in profit each. This requires maybe 10,000, maybe 8, maybe 12,000 mailers per month. We're going to go into these a little bit later. The time investment for the volume game is the most, right? You're in the trenches every single day and you're having a lot of conversations with people. That could be a 40-hour per week job. It also could be, depending on how you set your business up, much less than that. Now, your annual profit at $25,000 in 2 deals per month at $25,000 in profit each is $600,000. Pretty damn good. And let's say you have a bunch of software and marketing, and your marketing budget comes out to be somewhere in the $10,000 per month range. Your key focus in the volume play is really just quick flips, infill lots, rural recreational land, quick flips for either one of those. Now, path number 2 is the high ticket focus. It is maybe doing one deal every 2 to 3 months. They're all subdivide deals. They're much larger deals, and you make $100,000 in profit for each of these deals. Now, this requires a more specialized marketing approach to larger and more sophisticated landowners. So it's not going to be the same type of marketing that you're using for your volume play. But for something like this, your time investment could be much lower because you're going to be talking to a lot fewer leads. They're going to be higher quality leads, but they're going to be a lot fewer. Your annual profit for this could be $600,000. It could be much more than that, or it could be less if you're not doing as much and sending out as much marketing. Your marketing budget is going to be a similar type of range, depending on exactly what you're trying to focus on with these types of larger assets. Now, the third path is sort of the hybrid approach. This is what everyone thinks that they should do, right? They should do a couple of smaller deals when they start their business and a couple of larger deals. So say you do a couple of smaller deals at $15 a month and maybe one deal a quarter at $75,000 to $150,000. Your annual profit's going to be in that same range. But what happens is when you split your focus, especially at the beginning, and if you're running this business by yourself, which is what a lot of the people in the Landman Profit Accelerator, maybe they have a couple of VAs, but a lot of land investors in general, you get overwhelmed, right? And so you can't actually do a large approach well or the small volume play. So how do we actually start with the end in mind and not have to work harder, but work with more clarity so we can achieve our financial goals? Let's build a roadmap. So here's what you need to decide when you build a roadmap when you're building your land flipping business. Number 1, your time investment. Are you full-time available? Are you like a lot of land investors, a lot of people in the Land Profit Accelerator that are maybe 15 to 20 hours per week? Or are you even lower? You have minimum time, but you have team support, 5 to 10 hours per week. For your financial resources, how much money do you have to spend per month? For most of the people that join the Land Profit Accelerator, I always say, hey, for most of the people that join the Land Profit Accelerator, I always say, hey, $3,000 to $5,000 per month for the first 6 months, and actually be able to do that, right? A lot of times that We're going to talk about clarity here in a little bit more in a second, but people will say, hey, yeah, I can do 5,000 a month. But in month 4, maybe they're getting the results that they want, or they're not getting the results that they want, and they want to either jack it up or they want to pull it down because they haven't closed on as many deals as they originally anticipated, or they're closing on more deals. The reality is you got to stay consistent to hit your goals, and that means a consistent allocation of money every single month. And the last thing is the business model. Like, a lot of people start out as a solar operator, and they want to scale their way out of this business. But if you scale your way out of the business, your profit also gets scaled out of your business. And a lot of times, because we are in the business that we have to outlay a lot of cash and a lot of marketing to get money back in, people think that, hey, I'm going to invest in a team member and it's going to impact me in 30 days. No, it's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months out before a team member can really impact your team. So that's why having this type of clarity is so critical in order to build a thriving, successful business in year 1 or in year 10. So let's break down what I just talked about in real life. So say you want to hit a $25,000 per month goal. Your average profit per deal is $12,500. So you need 2 deals per month to hit that, right? And we know in the land business, we close about 65 to 70% of the deals. So that means I need to basically lock up 3 deals per month to hit that. On average, depending on what you're targeting, let's say it takes 40 leads per deal, or let's say we're using direct mail. Using easy math, that means we need about 80 leads monthly with a 1% response rate. That's about 8,000 mailers monthly, which is about a $4,800 marketing budget. So you see how we're really breaking these things down with the clarity. It's not just like I need to send out these amount of mailers, or I just need to work harder, work my leads harder. There's a predictable in land. This is a direct marketing business. There is a predictable amount of marketing that you send in order to get feedback, right? Now, it could deviate from one quarter to the next, but as a general rule, you can expect a certain response from your marketing. For direct mail, anywhere between 0.5 to 1%. So you can build that out and say, hey, if I know my average profit per deal is this is the amount of marketing it takes to get these amount of people in to get my profit deal, I can build out a business with the end in mind. But this is where people mess up. Working harder isn't the first step, it's clarity. When you know exactly where you are going, your decisions become clear. Your actions become more focused. Your results become predictable. Now, I remember when I was starting, I sent out 15,000 mailers and I did not get a single deal. I almost spent $10,000 in software and mailers, and my course was even more than that. And what happened was I really took a step back and I said, dude, like, this is not going to get me to my goals. If anyone knows me, that year my wife actually lost her job right before Thanksgiving, and I had to make a lot of money really, really quickly. And so there wasn't any time for feeling sorry for myself or not already committing. I had to keep pushing that boulder up the hill. So I got crystal clear on my goals, right? I knew the amount of time that I had to allocate to this. It was my full-time job at that point. I just went all in. I knew what I needed to make in order to hit that. And so I went around and talked with a bunch of people in the industry and said, hey, what can I expect? What's my average cash conversion cycle? How long does it take for me to close a deal? Who do I need on my team to hit my goals? How many mailers do I need to send? What's wrong with my mailers? I got really, really clear and then set up benchmark KPIs. I started to get deals after I set up benchmark KPIs. It was the same actions, but there were different results. All because I knew exactly what I was building. So let's make this actionable to you. Here's your step-by-step plan. Number 1, write out your 12-month income goal. Define your ideally weekly schedule. Is it 20 hours a week? Is it 40 hours per week? Enlist your available resources, primarily financial resources. How much money do you have to allocate to actually building out this business over a 4 to 6 month period? Pick your strategy. I always recommend people starting out in maybe rural info lots or info lots or rural recreational lots. They're just kind of more, they have a better feedback loop. You're going to get more feedback quicker versus larger subdivided properties. And the reason why a lot of people fail in this business is not because they're not capable. It's because they give up. And people give up because they're not getting the feedback from, I sent out this marketing, people are calling in. So after you define your resources, then you can define your marketing budget. Then you can define your system. Then you can define your lead generation plan, what marketing channels you're using, so that you can have clarity on what it takes to succeed. And when something's going wrong, or maybe your marketing responses are dipping or going up, you can still keep the path steady in order to hit your goals. Here's a couple of common pitfalls before we end this video. So people set a lot of vague goals. Hey, I want to make more money, or I want to send out X amount of mailers. That's not going to work, right? That's not going to give you the clarity that you need in order to follow a plan in order to be successful. Number two, people just copy other people's strategies. Hey, I'm going to copy this strategy that I heard on some guy on a podcast, and I'm just going to implement it into my business without actually looking at the KPIs, looking at the current processes that you have, or looking at the learning. Maybe you took a course or program, and you're just going to implement something and throw it in your process. People think that that's easy to do at early on stages of their business. Well, I can just add this as an extra dispo strategy, or it's an extra acquisition strategy. But adding that type of stuff that's not within the plan, the clarity plan that we just talked about you creating, is going to create a lot of friction, and it's going to really prevent you from hitting your goals because you're distracted. Another thing is not tracking your own time, saying, hey, what am I doing? What are the actions that I need to take in agreeing with my KPIs in order to be successful? So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video, write down your ideal monthly profit, calculate how many deals that requires. You can be a little bit more conservative. For me, it's about $26,000 per month, but that fluctuates greatly every month. You could say maybe, depending on the properties you're going after, $15,000 to be conservative, and calculate how many deals that requires. Comment below with your gross profit number, the deals that requires, and your average profit per deal that you're thinking that you need in order to hit your goals. If you want to take this a little further, I created a free guide. This is what we actually use in our business to say, hey, this is the industry benchmark for the cold calling, for texting, for RVM, for direct mail, for response rates. So I can actually predict, I have this amount of money, I can allocate it towards this channel and get this type of feedback. So I know, hey, I want to make X amount of money this year, and I could just plug and play in this guide. So you can download the guide below. Again, don't forget, if you got any benefit from this, rate, review, and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing a lot more of this content for you every single week. Remember, if you don't know where you're going, any road is going to take you there. But when you start with the end in mind, success becomes inevitable. The land investing game it's changing. Those who win aren't just working harder, they're working with clarity and purpose. So until next week, apply this, build out your clarity, and we'll see you then.